online marketing does require working with technology, and it gets easier. If I can learn it, you can learn it. Trust me on this. So um, there is definitely going to be a learning curve. You need a website. You're going to have a CRM or an ESP. So CRM is a customer relationship management, or ESP, an email service provider. They're really the same thing. Some are more robust than others. But if you're just starting out, a simple system like Aweber or Constant Contact or MailChimp, those are just fine. But there are several others. Infusionsoft is a big one. Entreport is another one that offer a lot more bells and whistles. They're kind of harder to learn, but they can really automate your system. But you really should be, before you kind of invest in one of the bigger CRMs, you should have at least a steady income coming in so that you can afford, basically the extra technology that you're buying and have the time to learn how to use it. You're also going to need to have some kind of a merchant account, whether it's Square or PayPal or something like that. You're going to have to be able to link with those. And you're going to have to know how to create landing pages for your products and services. And again, if I can do this, you can do this. So it's just be systematic about it. There's tons of online, videos about how to do that. And I make sure that as much as I can, I work with companies who provide these things that have excellent online customer I'm sorry, on the phone customer support, because I will much sooner pick up the phone and give them a call and say, help me with this, rather than, watching 2 hours of videos. So anyway, you're going to have to learn this stuff. A website. For 99% of businesses out there, a website is absolutely critical. John Jantsch of Duct Tape Marketing says the web represents the center of the marketing universe. Like it or not, this is where you need to play, even if you have a brick and mortar retail business. You must have a website. And there are certain pages that your website should have. Basically, a homepage, obviously, right? And this is where you need to speak to your customers' needs. Your About Me page is going to tell me your story, your why, your USP. Who are you? And because I have to know, like, and trust you, right? So I need to know about you. That About Me page is really, really critical. A landing page is absolutely critical, and this is where you're going to capture email and contact information for your potential customers. You're going to have some kind of an irresistible opt-in or a lead magnet. And I have a worksheet on that down below. If you haven't already created this, then you need to do this, because this is part of your marketing strategy. It's a free digital product that basically attracts attention and pulls the leads into your funnel. And there are a couple keys to this irresistible opt-in. Basically, you've got to create it with your perfect customer in mind. What is it that they would love to know about, and that you are uniquely qualified to teach or share with them in order to engage them? Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, you can just do a quick checklist. You can just, download something off online. And sure, you can. There's a lot of material out there. A lot of it's copyrighted, so be careful. You wouldn't want somebody to basically hijack your stuff either. You can repurpose other content that's out there. But I really believe that since this, for a lot of people, is going to be their first point of contact with you, that it should be some of your best work. It represents you. It's that first impression people have with you. So your irresistible opt-in or lead magnet, again, create it with your perfect customer in mind. Make sure you have an offer in there somewhere, an offer to work with you, an offer to contact you, an offer for a free consultation. Make sure that you embed that into your digital product, whatever it is. It can be a link back to your website. It can be a link to your email. But again, it's a great place to reinforce that you're available and you're there to help them. Then you're going to need on your landing page some kind of an opt-in form that captures their contact information and sends it directly into whatever CRM or ESP you're using. So that's how that works. Of course, you've got to have a sales page on your website that features your core product. If you have more than one, start with your core product. What is the one thing that you can sell day in and day out that really is the base of what you do? And so have a sales page. We've talked about creating that killer offer. That's where it's going to go. And then you should have some content. And it takes time to build up content, and that's okay. The website is going to take time. If you don't already have one, this is going to take time, but you've got to start somewhere. You need to have, whether it's some blogs that shares, your information, your spin on things, the way you look at life and at business, or your particular area of expertise. And they can be written or they can be video. Vlogs, they call them, is really becoming more and more the best way to engage people. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Your content should be optimized for SEO, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But it's how the internet finds you. And your content you can share out on social media. You can repurpose it in many different ways. It's just really good to start creating content so that you have your kind of your repertoire and you can build out more products and services. Best practices on your website. You want to make sure that you feature testimonials and success stories. Sprinkle them throughout your website. You can have them on each of those pages. You can have a separate page that's just for testimonials and success stories, whatever it is. But make sure that you have some, and make sure also that they're short and succinct. Sometimes clients will write you these beautiful, glowing testimonials that are like 5 or 6 paragraphs long. And that is fantastic. But condense those, take out the best sentences, keep them 2 or 3 sentences long if you can. That really is all that people are looking for. They're not going to sit there and read this huge, humongous testimonial. Make sure that you've communicated your USP throughout on the different pages. Just weave your message into the different pages on your website. Make sure it's mobile responsive, kind of reformats it so it looks good on a cell or other device. Make sure on your website, especially on your homepage, people should know what you do and who you do it for in 10 seconds or less. Don't make them read a bunch of information to find out. Have a headline that stands out and says, if you're looking for this, you're in the right place. Okay, so make sure that you don't have a lot of time, but just make sure that they know very quickly what it is you do. And make sure you have a prominent call to action. What is the one thing you want them to do when they land on your homepage, when they land on your About Me page? What is the one thing? Do you want them to click in, and opt in for your lead magnet? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to set up a free consultation with you? What is a call to action that you can have on every page of your website? And if you can, put it above the fold, or basically on the first screen that people encounter so that they see it. It's prominent. Make sure your website looks professional. Have other people look at it, give you their input on it, look for typos. Things like that matter. And that's where it's really great to have other people read through your website and see what questions they have. Or what, you might ask them, so what kind of an image does this convey to you? Or have them look at your homepage and say, who do you think that I'm trying to reach? Or what do you see the call to action? Or whatever. But your website is your representation on the web, and it's got to look good, folks. Okay? Okay. Moving forward, some other tips on websites. Find other websites you like and borrow ideas. Don't plagiarize and copy blocks of content and text, but see what you like. There are so many different ideas. Look out there and see what you think. WordPress is pretty standard. There are obviously other platforms to create websites. WordPress is great though because it is standard. So many web designers know how to use it. You can use it. You can customize and update with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plugins and themes available for WordPress. And it's really, once you get to learn it, it's not difficult to maintain your website either yourself or hire a VA to do it. If you're just getting started, you can definitely do it yourself, and it's not that difficult, and there is phone support available from WordPress. Or you can hire someone to just do the basics of it and then teach you how to use it so you can take it from there. Or you can, hire someone to maintain it on an ongoing basis. But I would really recommend that you know how to update your own content. First, something may happen to your web designer, heaven forbid, or I know people who have had websites who don't have a clue how to update them or change them, and their web designer goes out of business, they can't find them anymore, and they're basically stuck with this website that they can't do anything to, and they have to start over. So just some tips on that. And I'm sorry if I'm going fast, but there's a lot of information to cover today. So we're just doing the big, broad brushstrokes of marketing mechanics. Videos. We talked about videos. Videos on a website are extremely successful. Whether it's on your website, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on social media, but videos are incredibly powerful. They're 300% more effective than written copy. Videos are really great for building those personal connections. People really get to see a sense of who you are. And try to keep them less than 3 minutes if you can. 2 minutes is great, or even under 2 minutes. Occasionally, you might want to have a longer one, but that really should be the exception. Yeah, your smartphone. I have a mic that I actually plug into my smartphone because it's the sound quality that you want to make sure is good. People are now, they're not as concerned with the video quality, but the sound quality better be good. They need to be able to hear you and understand you. Invest in a small tripod. Make sure that there's some kind of a clean background behind you. If your desk or your office or wherever you're at is super, super messy, and unless you're like a home organizer and you're going to show them how to clean it up, make sure you have a very clean background because it can be pretty distracting. You want to pretty much fill the screen and be at eye level with the camera and be yourself. Don't worry about stumbling over your words or ums or ahs or whatever. Just be your wonderful, perfect self. And that's what people will engage in. They want to know that you're human and they want to know, like, and trust you. Okay, so some tips on video. Highly, highly recommend that you play in video as well as in written posts. Okay? Moving on. SEO. A lot of people talk about SEO and they're going to optimize their stuff for SEO, and that's great if you know how to do it. It can be very complex and it does take time. It's not a bad idea to pay someone who knows what they are doing, but be careful that you know exactly what they're promising you and you know exactly what they're going to do and what the results are of that. Because there are a lot of people who will take advantage of you, especially when you're talking about an area that you may not have a lot of expertise in. Oh, yeah, we'll handle your SEO, we'll up your traffic by 800%, and we'll do all this kind of stuff. Ask questions. Buyer beware in this case. Okay, there are great people out there doing fantastic work, and there are always people looking to take advantage. So I would recommend if you're going to hire someone to do it, do a little research, know what it is that you want to have done, know the basics of SEO, and then you know what to hire for. If you're going to do it yourself, basically the process is that you go into Google Keyword Planner and you search keywords that are going to resonate with your customers, things that relate to what you're doing. You're going to look for responses to your search that come in under 5,000. And if you go to Keyword Planner, you'll see what this means. And then you're going to use some kind of a plugin. I like to use Yoast that helps me optimize everything I put on my website for those keywords. And you do that through your dashboard in WordPress and make sure that you add keywords to all of the images and all of the videos on your site. Now, word about SEO. I think it's great if you can optimize your SEO so that your website comes up #1 in all the searches for your industry, right? Wouldn't that be great? It's a lot harder than people think it is. It's very doable. But if this is a strategy that you're going to embrace, make sure you do it all the way. And it'll probably cost you money along the way, and it will take a tremendous amount of time, and the payoffs will be phenomenal. You'll be glad that you did, but you have to stay on top of it. And basically, what happens with SEO is, there are those keywords that you wanted when people type them into a search that you want to be found for. And so you have to make sure that you optimize um, the content on your website so that when the bots from the different search engines, they come out and they search the content, new content that's out on the web, and then they index that. And that's kind of how, very simplified version of how that works. And it takes time. One of my main competitors, I was doing some research, she's got over 9,000 pages on her website. They're not all, some of them are, levels, tiers 3, 4, 5. They're really deep, but she's a very robust website. And for someone who's just was starting out a couple of years ago, it's like, there's no way I'm going to compete with her. What I did instead is I entered into a strategic partnership with her. So anyway, SEO, it's great. Lots of people specialize in it. It can really help your business. But if you're going to go that route, go all in. Okay. There you go. That's my take on SEO.